recently there was a very severe incident a few years ago, but since then they've been quite sporadic. Why now, and why are so many forces being deployed?
Right. We have a long history. Like you mentioned, it's the border is a long disputed border that is mostly in high up in the mountains. It is treacherous. It's difficult to navigate. It's difficult to access. And after the war in 1962, I think from 1963 onwards, we've had a long history of agreements trying to manage that. And I think the underlying basis always was on both sides was that let's try and find a resolution that is based on being friends, that is based on cooperation. However, like you mentioned a little earlier, things it's been a difficult time in Indo-China ties. The last 2.5 years have been tough. It started off in 2017 with the whole Doklam standoff. And then, of course, the summer of 2020, where for the first time, and that was critical, really, lives were lost. It came as a huge shock.
20 Indian soldiers, I believe, and 4
yes, the
Chinese.
Border was a contentious. Yes, 4 Chinese, 20 Indian soldiers, brave soldiers lost lives. And it became a big, for obvious reasons. I mean, you saw brutal hand-to-hand combat. You saw soldiers being pushed off icy cliffs. And all those images kind of tend to stay, right? And as soon as there is death, it kind of gravitates to another issue. So we saw serious escalation in tension after 2020. So you're right, a couple of days ago there was another standoff. Again, this is on the eastern side of the border. I think from both sides, these are, historically, these have been tactical moves, but the overall umbrella has always been, let's find a way to resolve this. It's just unfortunate that things have things have gotten worse the last 3 years, and often war and conflict, not just in India and China, across the world, are used as a strategic tool, for votes, for elections.
Yeah.
But that is domestically. I think on the international front, I think both countries are clear that war is cannot be a resolution for this.
Richard, I want to turn to you. China's foreign ministry has said that according to their knowledge, the situation on the border was generally stable. A very Chinese announcement coming from Beijing, and that the two sides are maintaining dialogue, or allies, or at least enemies and foes. Is it a direct, usually, communication, or is it also indulged in ambiguity and keeping the enemy or the other on their toes?
So, Ariel, first, I wouldn't use the term enemy. There are no enemies in a globalized, kind of integrated world we live in. I hope we don't say the word enemy. I think we're all doing this diplomatic dance, if I can put it like that, to carry forward from what, our friend spoke earlier. After the violence of 2020, we've met close to 16 or 17 times to talk and try and solve this. But like you both were discussing, there's been absolutely no way forward. I think in terms of intent, the intent is there. And it's been said publicly by the External Affairs Minister and senior leaders in India that the intent is certainly there to kind of say, let's not get distracted. All this is distractions that kind of take away from where we can work together and really on mutually kind of beneficial platforms, whether it's commerce, whether it's the economy, whether it's regional cooperation, and all of those. Those are platforms that we need to work towards. Let's not get distracted. But I would tend to agree with the discussion earlier, saying that from a Chinese point of view, this blow hot, blow cold kind of tactic is something that we're used to, and you can't wish it away. So you just have to learn to kind of navigate that, manage that, contain that at the border, and not let it influence how India and China kind of step forward in diplomatic and international relations and agreements.
Okay. Ekta, thank you. Richard, back to you. And my last question.
States and the rest of the United States' allies in the region, that China is not willing to sit back and do nothing, while Japan and Australia also start to get much closer with US intentions here.
Richard Kimber in Hong Kong, Ekta Kumar in New Delhi. Thank you very much, both of you. Happy holidays.